What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name is Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Historically, well, mostly real recently, when you hear about reshoots in a Marvel movie, it's not usually good news. But when we heard they were doing some pickup scenes for the Fantastic Four, it was revealed that principal photography was not changing that much at all. They wanted to reshoot some things to make the movie just a little bit tighter. This is not outside the norm for reshoots or pickup shots, really for any film, even outside of Marvel Studios. Well, as it turns out, they shot some of this outside, and because you can get drone footage of anything taken outside, we have some leaked photos now from the set of the reshoots of Fantastic Four, one of which is revealing the Silver Surfer in a completely different way than we've seen her in the trailer. We're going to break down exactly what's going on in this photo and our take for what they're reshooting here. I think it's actually pretty obvious, but first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content at the channel. That's all we do. If you're into that kind of thing, hit the sub button, leave a comment down below. That will automatically enter you to win our ongoing PS5 giveaway. If you want, stick around to the end of the video. We get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so these photos were actually posted by the Daily Mail UK, and they are all over Twitter and all over social media at this point. But if you somehow haven't run into them already and you don't want this spoiler, because obviously this is from behind the scenes, now would be the time to back out. Here's the shot. Now, if your video and post didn't show Julia Garner's Silver Surfer, but except in her human form wearing a white and blue dress along the ocean side, that's because I had to clip it out due to copyright. You can follow me over at IamFires on Instagram, and I will have it posted there. But what we're seeing again is Shala Bal, the character of Silver Surfer, not in her Silver Surfer form, in her human form. So it's easily one of two things that are going on here. Either this is after the climax of the film and she's been released from being the Herald of Galactus and getting to return to her original form, but I think more likely the case, this is probably a reshoot for a bit of an origin story for Shala Bal on her home planet of Zenn-La. And incidentally, this part of the story really ties into Norrin Radd's Silver Surfer because it's upon the destruction of Zenn-La and the death of Shala Bal that Galactus loses Silver Surfer, and in an attempt to regain him because he realizes how much he depends on Norrin Radd, he actually resurrects that planet and Shala Bal, restores every atom, and then erases his memory so that he doesn't remember that Galactus did this in the first place. Now, are they going to go down the same storyline in the Fantastic Four? I think that's unlikely. I think they're really loosely adapting a lot of things just to make it fit in the way that the MCU wants it to. Why they decided to go with Shala Bal's Silver Surfer, other than Norrin Radd, is still a huge question mark to me, and the only way I've been able to reconcile that while we've been talking about and analyzing the Fantastic Four trailers is that they must anticipate involving Norrin Radd's Silver Surfer in the future of the MCU in the 616. That's why they didn't want to go ahead and use him this early in the story. Which to me, that makes sense. I still don't understand though why they wanted to go away from the traditional Norrin Radd when they were doing what felt like a traditional take on the Fantastic Four, well, as traditional as they could do, because they went to the great lengths of putting them in a different timeline, not the 616, to do just that. Now, it may be a bit of a stretch, pun intended, to just assume this is Zenn-La, and it would be even a further stretch to assume that the planet we're seeing destroyed and during the trailer is Zenn-La. A lot of industry insiders have been saying that's just a vision that Reed Richards is having of what could happen to the planet if he's not successful. But in the nature of stretching here, I think it's not unfair to say that since the beginning, Shala Bal's storyline has always been tied to Norrin Radd. So maybe it's not that they're skipping Norrin Radd, they're just actually doing an extended part of Norrin Radd's story. And no, I am not trying to say I think we're going to get to see Norrin Radd's Silver Surfer in the Fantastic Four again. I think that's for the future of the MCU, but I think establishing some of this backstory and from a different point of view, again, gives them a character that they can use in this film and move past from, because if they were to leave whatever timeline that the Fantastic Four are in and come to the 616, unless Norrin Radd came with them and they explained it, he would be lost in the MCU forever. Instead, when that ends up becoming Shala Bal's fate, it won't be as big a loss as knowing that we will never have another Silver Surfer. Now, that said, what that means for Galactus, I'm not exactly sure, because I don't feel like Galactus is a one-off villain either that they're going to strand in some part of the multiverse and that we'll never see again in the MCU. But all these explainers withstanding, I think what makes the most sense is that Shala Bal will be a one-off in a way they didn't want Norrin Radd to be. But you guys let me know all your thoughts down below. If you have a different take on what we're seeing here in the set photos, I know they lack a little bit of context. I'm all ears. There are a ton of different storylines they could draw from, and in fact, we talked about our theory that I will link at the end of this on why I think this timeline is Earth 9997, the Earth X storyline that featured Shala Bal. And if you haven't already, I suggest you watch that because there are some really compelling arguments for why this could be that timeline, but a timeline ultimately they're going to leave. So many explainers left to come though, and how we get to the Fantastic Four jumping to the 616 as we just saw in the Thunderbolts post-credit scene. You guys let me know all your thoughts down below quickly. Let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. Alright, we are still giving away PS5s. All you gotta do is be a subscriber, so hit the sub button, then leave a comment down below, and because it's truly random, the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will be announced at the end of videos, the same way we're doing here, live with my voice in the winning comments shown on screen. Please be safe and vigilant, and if you should ever get any spam, just report it directly to YouTube. The best way to keep up with the content has always been to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on, and as always, if you liked today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. My name's Michael Roman. Find me in a couple of places, Instagram and Twitter at IamFires. You can find me on all other platforms under the name AllFires, and while I'd sincerely appreciate you checking my music out, thanks for checking this channel out. Stick around, we'll be posting again real soon.